Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. No matter what anyone says, no matter what black pill people are pushing, I personally have faith in a great conservative future. You might be black pilled and you think it's never gonna happen, but with people like Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis leading the charge, it's getting hard to doubt it at this point. Now I know every single time I make a Ron DeSantis video calling him a political superstar, or going over some of the strengths and weaknesses between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis, some people get offended and think it's a Donald Trump versus Ron DeSantis thing and I'm taking a side. Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is they're both great, they both have their pros and cons, and it doesn't have to be so tribal. I mean, that's what probably Twitter and the mainstream media want you to think, or want you to believe, that it's either or, but really, it's not. And as of right now, Ron DeSantis is the political future of the Republican Party, and that's a good thing, because if you ask me, the future is looking bright. We spent a whole lot of time on this YouTube channel focused on the Democrats, what the Democrats are doing wrong, their phony messaging campaigns, the hypocrisy, the lies, the corruption, all of it. But that's not to say that the Republican Party or the Republican establishment is perfect. Far from it. In fact, the Republican establishment might, in a way, be more flawed than the Democrat establishment. Because while the Democrats might be corrupt and dishonest, and of course the list goes on, at least they're willing to fight. At least they're tough and they take a stand. Republican leadership, well, not so much. In fact, quite the opposite. I'd go as far to say that the Republican establishment is filled with a bunch of cowards. Left-wing virtue signaling is one thing, but Republican or conservative virtue signaling exists as well. Something along the lines of my values and taking the higher road, which may sound nice on the surface, but it's absolutely stupid considering the environment or the context in the political arena against a group of people that literally want to destroy you. I'm going on a little bit of a monologue here, a little bit of a rant. I'm sure you guys get the point, but the future of conservatism fighting against the cowardice of the Republican establishment is the topic of today's video, and Ron DeSantis and his most recent TopGov campaign ad is what we're going to use to start the conversation. We've got some stuff to get into, folks, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, so like I keep telling you, this right here is why Ron DeSantis is not just a politician, but rather a political superstar. Take a look at his most recent campaign ad. It is next level.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your governor speaking.
Today's training evolution, dogfighting, taking on the corporate media.
The rules of engagement are as follows. Number 1, don't fire unless fired upon, but when they fire, you fire back with overwhelming force. Does it say that in the bill? I'm asking you to tell me what's in the bill. Number 2, never ever back down from a fight.
If I could complete the question, though.
So you're going to give a speech or ask a question?
Number 3, don't accept their narrative.
It's wrong. It's a fake narrative. I just disabused you of the narrative, and you don't care about the facts.
It's why people don't trust people like you, because you peddle false narratives. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's turn up.
This right here is exactly what conservative voters are looking for, and frankly, I think it's a good message across the board. If there's one thing that a majority of people can agree on, is that the mainstream media is dishonest, and some may say or go as far to say evil. And so that right there, if you think about it, is a unifying message. But it's also a message of strength. It's a message of fighting back, of standing up. And it's exactly what's missing in conservative politics, not just in the United States, but basically across the Western world. And you might even argue globally, although the more east you go, generally, the crazier things get within the realm of politics. But in the Western world, conservatism is this Mitt Romney-style guy who's never said a cuss word in his life, stubs his toe and says, "Oh, gosh darn it." And while there's nothing wrong with people like that, it's virtuous to a certain extent. Within the political realm, or more specifically within the modern political fight, because that's what it is, it's a dogfight with unhinged Democrats playing dirty games and using dirty tactics, it's just not gonna work. And in general, these people are too susceptible to being used and manipulated. In all the mainstream outrage over Donald Trump and January 6th and everything around mud democracy and all the nonsense that we've been going through over the last couple of years, well, the more you harp on it and the more you exaggerate it, the easier it is to manipulate these kinds of figures because they give into it. They give into the narrative, and they end up taking sides with Nancy Pelosi instead of fighting against the dishonest games. They take the path of least resistance, and it's a complete disgrace. Well, people like Ron DeSantis and people like Kari Lake very simply don't. They believe what they say and they stand by it, and they don't sugarcoat their words. They don't play with the media, the same thing that I keep saying. These old neocon Republicans are too busy reading the New York Times in the morning and actually caring what these dishonest journalists are writing about them or about their political party to see the bigger picture. What conservative voters need and what frankly they deserve are political leaders who are going to stand up against the dishonest press. The mainstream media that has waged a multi-decade long campaign to destroy Republican values and frankly the Republican Party, while people like Mitt Romney, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, Liz Cheney, and the rest of them have essentially sided with the devil. They've sided with the corrupt media establishment that seeks to destroy you instead of standing up for their voters and standing up for their values, their principles, and their policies. But most importantly, the people. That's what I mean when I say it's a disgrace. It's an absolute, utter disgrace and betrayal. But no more, folks. These rhino fossils are going extinct, and the new Republican image is going to be cast in the image of Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis, Kari Lake, even Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that's a good thing. Because they're fighters, and you know what? They're relatable too. I'm viewing a bright conservative future, a new conservative age, and there's really only two things that need to happen. The Republican old guard must be replaced, and future conservative messaging and rhetoric has to be on point, focusing on things that actually matter, focusing on things that unite us. For instance, like our hatred for the media, focusing on things like crime and illegal immigration and free market solution to the world's problems, instead of government dependence and the expansion of socialist entities. And this is why I keep saying that Ron DeSantis, in my mind, is the total package. Again, it's not to discount Trump, but Ron DeSantis' swift handling of the media, of the dishonest press, is second to none. His policies there, his images there, his track records there, and his campaigning and messaging is as well. And the most important thing, he stays on message. Republicans can learn a thing or two from him, and if they do, we're talking about an unstoppable political force, period. If Donald Trump heading into 2024 stays on message, pushing the kind of messaging campaign, rhetoric, and policies that we covered just the other week from his CPAC video, then very simply, the Democrat establishment doesn't stand a chance, and I truly believe that. It's time to clean house of these rhino establishment neocon Republicans of old. Continue to follow the leadership of base conservatives who aren't playing games with the media and hone in on very specific messaging campaigns that resonate with average people and avoid the culture war nonsense and avoid playing the Democrat game. And that seems to be the direction of the GOP, and let me tell you one thing. Democrats may not admit it publicly, but behind the scenes, they're panicking at the idea of the Republican Party actually getting their ish together because frankly the last almost 20 years has been a complete disgrace, a demoralized, pathetic, weak, feckless Republican Party. And if that starts to shift and that starts to turn around, then Democrats are done. That's what I got for you guys though. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel if you're up for it, if you want to join the community here. I'm gonna get back to work though. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.